To pivot or not to pivot? That is the question. And if you pivot, do you pivot on the heel or the ball of the foot? Well, if you've ever wondered this about your Tai Chi movements, stick around, because that's what I'm going to cover in today's lesson.
I know that you're curious, I know that you're strong, but life can be furious and things can go wrong. You go, we're better off tomorrow.
Good morning, everybody. It's David-Dorian Ross from David-Dorian-Ross.com and TaiChiFit.net, and welcome to another episode of Learn Tai Chi at Home. It's Boxing Day. It's the day after Christmas. It's also day number 71 of 100 Days of Tai Chi, which is the video series where I've been teaching you how to do the traditional Yang family long-form 103 movements. This channel, Learn Tai Chi at Home, is all about finding better health, living longer but feeling younger, finding inner peace and harmony, and even just defending yourself against attackers. Now in today's lesson, we're learning movements number 73 and 74. The white crane spreads its wings and brush knee. It's a combination we've done before. We did it way back in section 1. So I'm going to put a little link right up here to the video where we learned it the first time. But today I've got some extra camera work. We're going to look at the virtual 360 for the footwork here. I've also got a really great question of the day because one of the viewers caught me making a mistake. So I'm going to talk about the foot pivot in Tai Chi, in particular with repulsing the monkey. So we're going to start with that little question of the day and then on to the lesson, and we're going to jump into that right now.
Get joy or sorrow.
So today's question of the day comes from the viewer Tai Chi Dance. Lenny, thank you so much for this question, who caught me actually making a mistake. During the movement, step back, repulse the monkey, I did tell you that you were supposed to pivot your toe forward on the heel of the foot. And then apparently I demonstrated pivoting the toe on the ball of the foot. And so I made a mistake. And Lenny caught me and asked me, so which is it, ball of the foot or heel of the foot? And it's an awesome question. So I wanted to answer that today and give us a little bit of something to practice. The answer actually is yes. It depends. It depends on what style and what routine of Tai Chi you're doing. Now, we are learning the traditional Yang family version of Tai Chi, and in this style, the step back repulse monkey pivot happens on the heel of the foot. But this is not always the case in other styles of Tai Chi. For example, in the Beijing style or modern style 24 movement form, the pivot is on the ball of the foot forward. Now the difference is that in the traditional style there is a martial application to pivoting on the ball of the foot. And it has to do with the direction of the travel. Because you're walking backwards, remember we talked about this Tui Bu, the retreating step, your weight is naturally shifting behind you. The center of gravity is going back. And so in this case, you want to be able to be grounded, because if somebody was following you and pushing on you as you were going, you would be vulnerable to being pushed over if you were on the ball of the foot. So you pivot on the heel. Now in the Beijing style, it's a little bit different. This is a style that's more athletic and more for demonstration and performance, and it is also influenced by other styles of Tai Chi. And so the original choreographers of this movement pivoted on the ball of the foot. Now it just so happens I've done a whole lot more practice with the 24 form. It was one of the first forms that I learned, and I've taught it in various videos and television programs and whatnot for a long, long time. And force of habit, sometimes I do pivot on the ball of the foot. And then I catch myself and do it better the next time, which is really what we do in Tai Chi all the time. It's not about perfecting anything in terms of no flaws. It's about being mindful, being able to catch yourself, to be aware, and to have fun with it. Ball of the foot, heel of the foot, at least it's on my foot, right? Anyway, Lenny, thank you for that question. It was an excellent question. All right. Anyway, let's jump in now to today's movement, crane spreads wings and brush knee and push. First, let's take a look at the whole movement. down, just look at the footwork. The first thing that happens is that that right foot will pivot in. This is caused by the body turn. Then the weight shifts onto the right foot, and the left foot comes out to tap the ball of the foot down on the ground. This creates an empty step. Then you have to step wide to create the channel width and shift forward into the Tai Chi lunge, the bow step. Here it is from the virtual 360. There's that pivot. Then the whole body turns around, and see there is narrowing the channel to make the empty step. Here is stepping out to the side a bit to create a new channel and shifting the weight forward. Now let's look at just the hands. So the first thing that happens is that from raised hands, both hands turn palm down and then pull. So they first get into a grabbing sort of position and then pull down. Then the left hand circles around on top to make a hold the ball. This is all done by the waist turning. So the waist turns and drags the hands down. Then the left hand circles around on top of the hold the ball. From here, as you shift the weight onto that right foot, the right hand is circling underneath the left elbow and then warding off outward, creating a ward-off hand. That ward-off hand rises up from the waist height, and when it passes the chest, it rotates out. So look at where the timing of the rotation of the palm is. Here's raise hands, pull both hands down, the left hand circles around, and then the right hand rotates out into crane spreads wing. Now, let's take a look at the second part, into brush knee. So I'm going to turn so that you can see this. In the beginning of the transition, the right hand turns palm up, and that's because the right elbow drops down. It arcs out to the side, and then both hands are reaching out to the side. Then the right elbow drops. And look how the right elbow goes almost straight down, and that action brings the right hand in by the chin. Left hand pushes down, but just a little bit. It just kind of goes down a couple of inches so that it can drop enough to circle out and around, brushing around the top of the knee in a horseshoe shape, out and back, winding up by the hip again. The two hands work together. And when you step into making a bow step, you begin to push that right hand forward. Now that is caused by the turning of the waist. You see the turning of the waist sort of spins the right hand forward, shooting it off, and that's how you get that extension. Let's look at a mirror view, and this time you should be following me. So when you're practicing, here's a little tip for you. Practice it both ways. Step back to repulse the monkey, pivot on the ball of the foot. Step back another monkey, pivot on the heel of the foot. Which feels better to you? Anyway, if you've got a question about, in fact, here's the question of the day for you. I was going to say, if you've got a question about Tai Chi or about any of the techniques that we do, please just go ahead and write it down in the comment section below. But listen, here's an opportunity for you to ask me more questions. Have you caught me doing anything else? Any other confusions, inconsistencies, flub-ups, whatever? If you've caught me, go ahead and write that down into the comment section below. We'll go back and take a look at that movement again. All right, well, another awesome lesson. Your first time on this channel, first of all, welcome. I'm so glad that you took the lesson with me. And maybe by this time you were thinking to yourself, yes, I could learn Tai Chi at home. particularly with this guy, David-Dorian. What's not to like? All you have to do then is just hit that subscribe button. Now, in tomorrow's lesson, we're not actually going to learn a new movement. We are going to learn a practice mode for some movements we've already done. So come back for that because you don't want to miss that lesson. For the rest of you who've been following this series all along, thank you so very much for another opportunity to share my Tai Chi with you. I really appreciate that. Tomorrow's another day. In the meantime, be well, be wise, and be wonderful. I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson.
We're better off tomorrow, but who knows if we get joy or sorrow.